The Republicans will control the House of Representatives in the next 118th Congress. Now, that begins January the 3rd, but until then, we have a lame duck session in progress. Now, some say, what's a lame duck session of Congress? It's lame, for one. It's a very, very, very dangerous period of time. Having been here at FRC now, going on my 20th year, I've seen really probably 2 or 3 periods of time, but one most significant back in 2010 when the Republicans took control of the House last time. On the way out, see what you have in this 2-month period, you have a group that is not coming back, all right? They're going to, either some are retiring, they've been defeated in their elections, and so they're voting on policy that is going to affect the country going forward, but they're not going to be held accountable for it. And that's what we actually saw yesterday in the Senate. Roughly half, I think it was 6, of those who voted to, let me rephrase that, 6 of the 12 Republicans who voted for this so-called Respect for Marriage Act are retiring. They're not coming back. And so they've launched this attack on religious freedom and parental rights. So the next, I'm going to give you an update here in just a moment on where that stands. It's not over, okay? It's not over. And you've got to be involved in this. I'm telling you, there is so much at risk here. So if you want to join us in protecting religious freedom and our children from this indoctrination that we've seen over the last 7 years in public school classrooms, then I need you to text the word DUCK, D-U-C-K, to 67742. That's 67742, the word DUCK. We'll get you a link. That way you can communicate with your 2 senators. We need you to contact them because right now this game is in the Senate, and they will vote on this after Thanksgiving. We were able to, our allies in the Senate, doing all that they can to buy more time so that you can speak to your senators and convince them not to be a part of this attack on religious freedom. Join me now to talk about this, give us the latest, is Travis Weber, Vice President of Policy and Government Affairs. Travis, welcome back.
Thank you, Tony.
All right. So just as a refresher, give us the, we're going to focus on the 12 Republicans. Who were the 12 Republicans?
Yeah, so we've got Susan Collins, Lisa Murkowski, Joni Ernst, Roy Blunt, Tom Tillis, Rob Portman, Mitt Romney, Richard Burr, Shelley Moore Capito, Cynthia Lummis, Dan Sullivan, and Todd Young, who all voted in support of this bill. Okay, so if you missed that, it's at TonyPerkins.com. But it was very clear by senators, I played a clip of Senator Langford earlier, that the so-called protections for religious freedom are, they're fake. Yeah, I mean, it's very sad, looking at what they try to claim as protection for religious freedom. It lists off educational institutions, religious institutions, but then says only in the solemnization or performance of a marriage, merely performing them in these places, the only thing protected. I mean, Frank, this is aside from the point, this is already constitutionally protected. So they're trying to say this is religious freedom. It's not religious freedom, as we've discussed. It leaves out individuals, businesses, and all these entities in the context of anything else that violates their belief that marriage, this is not marriage.
So it's a fluid process, but give us the status as best as we know right now.
Yeah, so as best as we know, Senator Mike Lee is doing a great job explaining this is unacceptable. This does not protect religious freedom. So he's trying to say, hey, let me help you protect religious freedom in this bill. As he works on this, we might see more of a delay in the process, and people at this time, we can still make a difference. People can still let their senators know they need to see this fixed with Senator Lee's provisions and the way he would want to see this fixed. Until that process works its way out, the game is not over. At some point, though, we're going to see a final vote on the bill or an attempt to salvage it with this religious liberty amendment.
So folks, what Senator Lee is attempting to do is to say to his Republican colleagues, look, don't vote on the next vote. There'll be another vote on this bill, another 60-vote threshold vote. And he's saying, don't vote for this until my amendment, which we have worked with him on his amendment, it is pretty much watertight when it comes to religious freedom, both for institutions and individuals. Doesn't make the bill a good bill, but it does protect religious freedom. Here's the deal. I don't think the Democrats will go for it. because they don't want to protect religious freedom. And that's what Senator Langford said on the floor, is that this was not an oversight. This is intentional. And that's why we have to have these protections. So you need to talk with your senators and tell them not to vote for this bill until Senator Mike Lee of Utah, his amendment is adopted in the Senate. And by the way, I would encourage you to be praying for Senator Lee. I've talked with him multiple times. This is a real spiritual battle that is raging over this issue.
Yeah, because Tony, there's a lot that hangs on the protection of religious freedom, and we have some leaders who want to stand up and hang the mantle of that over their shoulders, and they're really undermining it. And that's what we're seeing
like Senator Tillis in North Carolina is one.
Yeah,
I'm going to call out names.
And him and others have said, we're protecting it. They're really not. They're undermining it. They're actually discarding it and throwing a lot of people under the bus in the process who need this protection.
And I will tell you, I am shocked, and I'm not going to say anything publicly. I haven't said privately. I'm really disappointed in Senator Roy Blunt, a longtime friend. In fact, the chair, he was one of the first chairs of the VAT committee as he came over from the House to the Senate. I've worked with him for years, actually for 20 years. Yeah. Very disappointing because he has been a defender of these things. So this is very shocking.
This is a values issue. It's a values vote, and you cannot support this bill and claim to support values.
Yeah. So folks, you really need to weigh in on this. This is, we don't. For those who listen, you know that we don't. We're not Chicken Little here. We don't run around screaming that the sky is falling. And you can go back and you can look at our track record when we've issued a warning. It has been legitimate and it's been right on target. Probably the only time we've fallen short is maybe we were not as precise in the timing. It's actually happened quicker. The decline has happened quicker than we projected. You've got to weigh in on this. Travis, thanks so much for joining us.
Thank you.